Listen, I know you, and I know you can explain all the mechanism of actions for the supplements in your office, the homeopathics, all the thing that you love to use, and you can also interpret a lab test or a saliva test like a champ. But even though you're a brilliant and exceptional clinician, why is it at the end of the month that you probably look at your bank account and go, ooh, ouch, looks kind of anemic over here? Today, I'm going to talk to you about the practitioner's paradox, which is why being great at what you do doesn't necessarily mean you have enough money left over at the end of the month, why you might be stuck, and the 5 structural shifts that you need to make to finally get paid for what you do. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Clinical Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm Rhonda, your no-fluff, tell it like it is business bestie for wellness practitioners just like you who want to build a practice you love and make a bigger impact and a little money while you're at it. So if you're ready to ditch the overwhelm, attract your dream, ideal patients, and finally run your practice with complete confidence, you're in the right place. Each week, we're tackling things from programs to patient retention to marketing strategies that actually work, sprinkled, of course, with a little sass, a lot of heart, and the step-by-step strategies that will help you get there. So grab your cup of coffee, your notebook, or whatever keeps you going, and let's build a practice you love and a life you love together. Well, welcome back. We are just finished our series on clinical thinking. I hope you loved it because I loved doing it. And certainly there are some updates to be had. I'll probably drop in little tidbits along the way to let you know how all of those 5 people are doing. But so far, so good. I lost one. I got one that's kind of on the rocks, but the other ones are doing really good. So we just keep plugging away. Today, though, I want to talk to you about the shift that I think everyone needs to make in order to get paid. Now, the reason that we do what we do is because we need to get paid for what we do, right? Otherwise, we would be on a beach in Tahiti just having a cabana boy and lounging in the sun and reading good books and maybe finding some charitable work to do or something like that. That's what I would be doing. But we also have this, paradox here because we love doing what we do. We love helping people. We love taking good care of them and seeing their transformation at the end of the day. However, we kind of sell ourselves short because what it looks like is, you show up and you're good at what you do and you've got, $50,000 worth of certifications and $250,000 worth of student loan debt and your heart is huge and your bank account barely covers your malpractice insurance. That is a paradox. You're really good at what you do, but you're not getting paid. You might be able to explain the Krebs cycle like nobody's business, but that doesn't make it so that you're getting more people in or you're serving them as well or whatever might be going on. That's the problem, is that we are good at what we do, but we sometimes don't know how to charge for what we do. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to talk to you about kind of the paradox that we're in. And really what it comes down to is not charging what you're worth. Now, if you're listening and you think, oh, well, I clearly charge what I'm worth. Maybe you do, but I probably, if we were in a cafe sipping on a cup of coffee or tea, and if I asked you enough questions, I would probably find out that indeed you are not charging what you're worth. And that's what I want to talk about. So even if you think you are, please just don't go away. Stay here, listen, because you might learn a few things and you might be able to make a few subtle changes. So here's what I've noticed. I've been working in this world of, clinical practice for 20 plus years. Some of you have been doing it longer than I have. And I have always loved business. I've always been good at business, I would say. But I also, you don't know what you don't know. So some of those lessons have come, by the school of hard knocks. And one of the things that I have to say I've never really had a difficult time with is charging what I'm worth, because I know the transformation, the life transformation that I'm going to provide to someone. I'm not just, handing them a few supplements, give them a few pills and out the door you go. I think we have an ethical responsibility to our patients to make sure that we are giving them, of course, what they want, right? We're providing the service, we're getting them the outcome that they want. But when we don't charge well for what we do, now don't hate me, but I'm going to say it. What you really have is a super expensive hobby. And I remember Years and years ago, my husband at the time, my ex-husband, his brother, we were out camping and his brother was teasing me about opening up my clinical practice. And he said, "You'll never be good at it. This is just going to be another hobby." And it hurt my feelings so bad. I thought, I cannot believe you. He was just mean. He was just really mean about it. But that night when I went to bed, I was still kind of fuming about it. And all of a sudden I went, screw you, buddy. Screw you. Sorry. You watch. You watch. You just said the wrong thing to the wrong girl. And it was then that I made up my mind that I was going to make it work and I was going to charge what I was worth and I was going to do a good job and I was going to get a transformation for my people. Now, that doesn't mean that you are like the best clinician ever. There's always going to be someone that knows more than you. That's just the nature of the game. That's why we're always learning. But I talk to practitioners all the time who tell me, "Oh, I only charge, $100 for a hour and a half new patient visit." And I want to put a stranglehold on them. Like, what are you doing? But I get that the money part kind of has to come. The confidence has to be there. Like the inside confidence has to be there in order for you to really be able to charge what you feel like you're worth. But sometimes practitioners just can't even see it. It's like, well, and there's all excuses. Well, that's what the only thing that they'll pay. They'll only pay that much. Well, I live in a really depressed area. Or, I just can't ask that much money because I have to go do research. And because I don't know enough, then I can't really charge for it. And I want to say that is just baloney. That is a bad mindset. And that puts you in the hobbyist category. And I don't think that's where you want to be. But my friend, that's where you put yourself if you're not charging what you're worth. So what we're going to do is we are going to talk about the structural leaks that might be causing a problem in your business and how we can plug those leaks and start getting a little bit more money in your business. So let's look at what's keeping you stuck. Number one, your offer. So before you say, "Well, I don't have an offer and I'm going to check out," please just don't leave me. Hear me out. When you don't have something, and let me back up. An offer, I'm talking about a thing, like a noun. I'm not talking about offering them help. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about an actual offer, something that translates to, I'm going to give you X in exchange for Y, right? I'm going to provide this service, this thing, and you're going to pay me money for the thing. When you sell your time, it becomes a commodity. You're just a commodity. Milk is a commodity. I can go to 7-Eleven and get milk. I can go to the local Safeway and get milk. Go to Publix and get milk. I could go to the local grocery store and I could go all the places and get milk. It's just a commodity, and it might be a different, dollar different here, 50 cents different there, maybe $3 at the convenience store. But it's a commodity, and you are a commodity. If you are just selling, if you're just doing fee for service and you're one of those general people, which we're going to talk about in a minute, I help everyone fix everything. You are at the bottom end of the commodity. Because you're swimming in a big red ocean that's full of blood and sharks and everybody's out for the same bait. And I don't want you to be there. I want you to be in an ocean of your own. I want you to be someone who has something to offer. So when you don't have a defined offer, you stay stuck because what you're doing is you're trading fee for service. That's all. You have a schedule, I see patients, and I charge this much per visit. And that's a transaction. That's not an offer. It's just a flat up transaction. It is not anything that's designed to offer a specific solution. You're just being transactional. When I'm talking about an offer, I'm talking about where you are defining a clear outcome, i.e. the transformation, and there's a clear price. So you can say, it could be something like, I only do functional medicine work with women that have Hashimoto's. You guys have heard me talk about this before. And I'm going to get your energy back and we're going to get your antibodies down within 90 days. And this is how we're going to do it. Here's the 1, 2, 3 step punch that we're going to do. Do you see the difference? So we're not saying, "Oh yeah, come back in 4 weeks for a follow-up." Okay, I have to full confession because I don't lie. I tell the truth. I kind of have some people that I'm doing that with right now, but I have a super part-time practice. I only work with people that I want to work with. I'm really clear that they're committed, except for the couple I told you that I lost, or one, I guess. But I mean, my people are really good about staying and, following through and all that. So I probably should drink my own medicine here, but I've helped hundreds of practitioners do this. When you create an offer, you actually have something that you can go to a person and say, "This is what I do. Here's the problem I solve. And this is the price." When you offer that, what that does is it allows you to charge more money because you're providing an outcome or a transformation rather than just an hour of your time. People can't they can calculate. If you say it's $3,000 and it's 3 hours, that's pretty easy math. Everybody can do that. They're going to say, oh my gosh, Rhonda's charging $1,000 an hour? What? She's not worth $1,000 an hour. They do the math and they bag out. But what if you said it's $3,000? Just roll with me. I know if that sounds like a lot with you, just hang with me. What if we said $3,000 and it includes labs, it includes a saliva test, it includes some follow-up, an initial consultation, 3 follow-up visits, and some supplements. Your first $500 in supplements or something like that. Now the brain can't calculate that. Now you have a bona fide offer. You have something that you can say, I sell X for Y, because people will not pay. This news flash, they will not pay for functional medicine. What they'll pay for is no more hot flashes. They don't want to pay for a wellness visit. They want to pay for an outcome. I want to play with my grandkids. I want my joints to not hurt. I want no more hormonal migraines. That's what they pay for. So we have to figure out what the offer is for you. What is it that you are going to do? So we got a few more steps here, and this will all kind of come together in a minute. All right. Thing number 2. It's the math of burnout, I think, that we don't calculate. So let's talk first about money, shall we? Well, since we're already on the money topic, let's talk about your overhead. Sometimes, I just talked with a practitioner a couple weeks ago, and this is what she told me. She said, I'm paying a lot of money for a website person. I'm paying a lot of money for an SEO person. I'm paying a lot of money for a social media person, and I have someone else is coming in and doing some consulting with me, and I'm paying them a lot of money. And I said, well, where are the results? You have to be able to quantify those results. And she said, well, I don't know, like I'm getting social posts on social media. I said, how many new leads are you getting from those? She just kind of looked at me like a deer in the headlights. And I said, where's the ROI? I mean, I'm just asking. If you're paying someone $700 a month just to have pretty posts on your social media channel, where's the ROI on that? How long are you willing to put $700 in the slot machine and get 0 out? That's what I'm saying. If you're going to invest in something, you better get an ROI. So if you are only charging, let's say $100 for a new patient appointment, or maybe you're like $150 or something. Let's say you're charging $100 for ease of math per new patient appointment. Okay, that's fine. And you say, well, that's my fee, and I charge $80 for a follow-up. All right, fine. That's too low, but we'll talk about that later. But do you know how much revenue you have to make in your practice every month just to break even? Do you even know that number? That's the first thing you have to know. And I know you because I have a big, strong accounting background. I can read my way through a balance sheet and a profit and loss statement like I can read a saliva test. Super easy for me. But sometimes I don't even like to look, especially when things are tight or we've come out of a slower season or I've had like expenses that I didn't anticipate or payroll or turnover or whatever. But this is what I want you to do. I want you to get with your bookkeeper, your accountant, and I want you to look at what your average overhead is every month. But here's the kicker. What I want you to do, and this is a big deal, I want you to find out what is the nut you have to crack every single month. Software costs, rent costs, utilities, office supplies, all the things. What's the amount that you have to generate every month in order to pay the bills, keep the lights on, and keep serving people? And it's the same if you have a virtual practice. You have to know your costs are going to be lower because you don't have rent, but you have to know. But I want you to add in how much you want to get paid. Don't neglect that. Don't just say, oh, I'll just get paid whatever's left over. No. That's not how we're doing that. I want you to add in how much do you want to get paid? Now be reasonable. I mean, please do not say, I want a $50,000 paycheck if you've only been taking $1,000. Let's be reasonable. But what if for the hours that you're working, your reasonable number might be $6,000 a month? Like you want to take $6,000 home. That's probably about a $7,500 gross so that you can get $6,000 net, depends on where you live. We'll get back to the 5 reasons that you're stuck in your practice in just a second, but I want to take a quick pause. If a patient comes into your office feeling fatigued and overwhelmed and just super stuck with their health, you wouldn't just guess why. You would check their vitals. You would ask them questions. You would get an intake form. You would gather information that helps you see what's wrong, and you would look at the data to find out what's happening and how you could help. Your practice is no different. If you aren't hitting your income goals, you're not paying yourself at the end of every month, your business is anemic. It's inflamed, it's anemic. But do you know why? Do you know where all of that is leaking out? We have to figure that out. And I've created a special tool for you. It's called the Practice Vitals Check. It's a 5-minute diagnostic look at, quote, the lab results. Like, think about that. The labs of your business. It's the data. It's the information that'll tell you where you you might be leaking money. It's going to show you exactly which systems in your business are healthy and which ones are starting to redline, like getting the low and out of range mark. So when you know that, you can stop guessing what to do, how to fix the problem, how to get your blood built back up, how to get the business healthy again. You'll know exactly what to do to start fixing the problem. It's completely free. You can go grab your copy, go to rhondanelson.com/practice vitals, or you can find the link in the show notes. And I want you to think about treating your business like you treat your patients. You want to get the data, get the lab results, make an assessment, create a protocol, and then fix the issue. So let's say you're going to take home $6,000. Then you're going to take your overhead in your practice, in your profit and loss, all the bills that you pay out every month, student loans, all the things, add it all up, plus $6,000, $7,000. That, my friend, is the nut you have to crack. Now, you just reverse engineer that. Figure out how many new patients do you need to see? How many follow-up visits do you need to have? How many supplements would you need to sell? And remember, you got a cost associated with that, right? You got to buy the supplement in order to sell it. But how many people do you have to see in order to make that money? As soon as you figure that out, all of a sudden, the universe starts to vibrate. Everything starts to get wiggly and vibrating. It's like, oh, Rhonda needs $10,000 a month. Rhonda needs $30,000 a month. Whatever the numbers could be, $5,000. I don't care. But write it down. Get clear about what you need so that then you can start to say, this is what I need every month to pay myself and pay my overhead. Everything above that is profit. You've paid yourself, you've paid your overhead, now you've got money. Now you can hire someone, now you can invest in that new piece of equipment rather than putting it on a credit card and paying for it over time. Whatever that might be, but that's how I want you to think about this. So if, now that you know you need to create X number of dollars every month, now you could say, all right, well, if you do the math and you're not charging enough, you're like, oh crap, that means I have to see 27 new patients every week and 45 follow-up visits every week. And clearly, there's not enough time in the day, hours in the week for you to do that. That's when you start to see that your overhead is either too high or you have a pricing problem. You've got to, your what you're charging for what you're worth isn't, and that's why you would fall into the hobby category, right? You just fall into the category of this is just a grown-up hobby that's high stress, a lot of high stress and a lot of work, but it's just a hobby. You're not serious about it. If you're going to be serious about it, this is how we get serious about it. We figure out how much money do we need to bring in order to pay the bills and pay me because I'm the one that's generating all that revenue. So I deserve to get paid. I should get paid first, period. That's it. So then if you have an offer, back to our first point, if you have an offer, now when people come in, my experience inside Clinical Business Academy, everybody does package programs of some kind. Everyone does. I teach how to do that. It takes a little time to kind of figure it out for what you want. I'm telling you, the profit on those programs is about 20% higher, 20% than what you would get if you were doing fee for service. Promise you. This is how you get out of financial debt. This is how you get your bank account out of being full on anemic. That's how we do it. All right. Now, number 3. This is what I call the leakage. Leakage is time, usually time, and I suppose money to some degree. Like you may have some expenses that are just too high, like the person I was telling you about. Whole bunch of money on website, whole bunch of money on social media, SEO, consulting, all the things. But where you might be leaking time is those extra few minutes that you give on a consult and that extra question that you just answer or a text message that you see and you answer because you're like, oh, it'll just be really quick. I'll just do it. And if you're the only one that does it, I understand, but you want to make sure that you have boundaries around your time because you will leak money with your time. So for instance, let's just say someone asks you a quick question. That's always like my joke. There's no such thing as a quick question. Maybe a quick question is it sunny today? That's a yes or no, but it could be a long answer if there's chemtrails or it could be a different answer, but a quick question that takes you 20 or 30 minutes to respond to. You lost money. You just opened up the faucet and dumped it right on down. So we need to have boundaries. Being too nice can kind of be expensive. And I have to, again, I'm going to be full transparency. I did what I did tell you not to do. I did it this last week. And I'm going to give you this scenario. I get on a call with a new patient and the new patient, the name, I'm like, okay, this is the person. And I'm looking in her, and I'm not seeing her intake forms come in. So about like an hour before the appointment, I send an email and I just say, listen, we're going to need to reschedule this appointment because I don't have time now to go through everything. And then right at the time of her appointment, I get a message that says, I'm in the Zoom room waiting. Well, it kind of made me mad because I thought, well, did you not get my message? Are you just giving me the finger? What's happening here? Well, I got on the phone, I got on the Zoom, I went ahead and jumped in and I said, listen, I don't have any paperwork. She goes, well, I just filled it out. I said, I haven't had a chance to look at it and I'm flying blind. And then I said, well, tell me, just give me this was the mistake. I said, just give me a Reader's Digest version of what's going on. And as she's telling me the Reader's Digest version, my heart just got all involved. And you know what was even worse? I went an hour over. 1 hour. It was supposed to be a 1 hour call, went 2 hours. I don't even know. I have no excuse. What a massive, massive financial leak that was. Huge. What could I have been doing with that hour? A lot more. And then I was mad. I was mad at myself for doing it. I thought, you know better. Why did you do this? You should have held your line, said no appointment, and just moved on with your day and then made her reschedule. But my heartstrings just kind of happened, and then I'm feeling bad, and all the things start to happen. Ugh. I was so mad at myself. I'm still kind of mad about it. But those are that's where I'm giving away my time and expertise for free. And I bet you're doing the same thing. You might discount your supplements because they're so nice and they got 6 kids. So I'm just going to give them a 50% off or 30% off or give them a 10% over cost or whatever. Or the patient who texts you like a 911 in the middle of the night. I used to look on the weekends in Practice Better to see, what kind of messages were coming through. And I had to stop because I wanted to respond. I'm like, oh no. Somebody's like, oh, I have bloody noses. Stop. I cannot be on call all the time. I just can't do it. These are the time leaks. So I know you want to be helpful and I want to be helpful and you want to be kind and I want to be kind. But boundaries are a huge way that you're losing money and not then paying yourself. If I had charged this lady for the extra hour, I wasn't even paying attention to the time. That was even worse. I just went I don't know where it was. I just went away. I was just enthralled in the conversation. So if we don't set good boundaries, we're going to fritter away time. We're going to lose money. And then we're back with an anemic bank account because we just gave away too much time. So time is another way that you can have this leak where you're not taking care of your financial security, your own financial security. Reason number 4, the fear of the niche. Are you ready? This is the pushback I get all the time. Is about, well, I don't know how to do, but I don't know how to be, I don't have a niche and I don't want to niche down because I just want to help everyone. Okay, look, I've tried so many ways to talk about this. I have tried calling it a niche, not calling it a niche, calling it this, I've tried. And a lot of times people you get that, practitioners will get that aha moment. They're like, oh, I get it. And it'll click. But when you still believe that you're going to exclude everyone, we don't want to exclude everyone. Usually that comes out of a poverty or poverty mindset. I'm just going to say it. And that's because your bank account's anemic. You only have $500 in your bank account. You're like, well, I'll help anybody. The dog walks in the door and all of a sudden you're a dog magician. You're going to help the pup. We just do because we're out of desperation. But when you help everyone, you help no one. You've heard this before. I want to tell you, I want you to consider switching from being a generalist, which is a commodity, we talked about that earlier, to a specialist, which makes you a necessity. Did you get the difference? I'm going to say it again. I want you to think about whether you're going to be a commodity, which is just being a generalist. It's like a general practitioner. Nothing against GPs in the medical world. We need them. But what if you changed and you just decided that you were going to become a specialist? Everybody, we have a context for that. You have cardiac specialists. We have OB-GYNs. Those are specialists. We have pulmonary thoracic surgeons. We have neurosurgery. We've got all kinds of specialties. There's tons of them. Why don't you become a specialist? When you're a generalist or you're that commodity, you end up staying stuck because a general practitioner is just kind of nice to have in your back pocket. Think about when you went to find a medical doctor. Why do you go see a medical doctor? Because you need to be a patient of record. Why? In case you need them. Are you following me here? Just in case I need them. If I get strep throat and I need an antibiotic, I need to go see someone. But that general practitioner, they're not essential for me. They're definitely not necessary. Why? Because they're not solving a problem. They're just there as a nice to have. They're just kind of there just in case. But a specialist becomes a necessity. And when you help everyone, you're that commodity. You're that generalist. You just got your door open, and whenever you need me for a chiropractic adjustment, come on in. You need some help with your kid's immune, come on in. I'll take care of you, give you a few supplements, and come back when you need me. But when you become a specialist and you solve one problem, you specialize in one thing, then you get to become the necessity that people want and they need. And who gets paid more, the specialist or the generalist? Well, you know the answer. The specialist always gets paid more. The specialist who fixes heart valves, he's a cardiac surgeon. He's going to get paid a whole lot more than somebody who's maybe writing a prescription for an antibiotic for strep throat. So that's how I want you to think about it. What is your specialty? How can you become a specialist? That right there is going to bring your income up so we can get your bank account out of the anemic state. And then number 5, every CEO of a business, and you are a CEO, I talk about this in Clinical Business Academy all the time. We make business decisions as a practitioner. That appointment that I went over on, was I wearing my CEO hat or was I wearing my practitioner hat? Yeah, I was wearing my practitioner hat. And had I been wearing my CEO hat, what would I have done? I would have said, oh, no. It's been 1 hour. Would you like to continue? We can, and there'll be an extra fee for that. Or I can take what I know and, work through it and do my best and get back with you. That would have been the CEO move. In fact, if I did that and I had an actual CEO that wasn't me, I'd probably get fired for that because I basically just gave away an hour of the CEO's time that the CEO is supposed to be paying me for. That makes sense? So you have to be the CEO, but sometimes we are the bottleneck. That means everything runs through us. Every decision, every this, every that. And I'm guilty of that, 100% guilty of that in my own business. And I try real hard to delegate when I feel safe, like somebody is going to make the good decisions, the systems are in place and all that. I'm good to let it go. But if it feels wobbly or unsecure for me, I do want to see it. What happens is we become the bottleneck and then we start thinking like a clinician, or we have to write our own emails, or we're all of that stuff. And then we end up not getting anything done. So what every business needs is think of it like an autonomic nervous system in your business. It's like an operating system. You need a business operating system, a clinical business operating system. That business operating system allows someone like me, when I get on a call, that I am not on there for 2 hours because I have something else at that 1 hour mark. I'm clear about it. I just didn't follow my own rules. And we're guilty of that because we own it's a funny kind of a paradox, right? It's the paradox that I talked about in the beginning. We are the practitioner, we're the provider, we're the CEO, we're the marketer. We wear all the hats. But that's sort of the problem, is that we wear all the hats. So we need that nervous system, operating system in the body that keeps all the traffic moving in the right lanes so that someone like me doesn't give away an hour of my time. When we have that kind of system in the business, it makes sure that the offer is there, right? We can go back. It makes sure that we're charging what we're worth. We make sure that we have all the pieces in place so that the business doesn't get away from us and we can capture the revenue that we need because we need to get paid for what we do. If you have to be there, here's the litmus test. If you have to be present in order for you to earn $1, in other words, you have to do a thing in order to get the dollar. You do not have a business asset. You have a job, or maybe even a hobby. You just have a job. And your job is you go in, you work, you get $1, you go home. That doesn't leverage because what happens if you get sick? And we've all had this, right? You're out for a week and your revenue, down it goes. Your bank account overdrawn. Every successful business has to have a system. This is why I go back to offer. If you have an offer and that offer does not always involve you, like it's a program that you can enroll people in, or it's like a 6-week, you know how we do like a liver cleanse or something, 3 weeks, you can put them on a liver cleanse for 3 weeks if you structure it right. It doesn't even require you. You can do videos, pre-done videos, send them out videos once a week. Doesn't even require you, and you just made money. And you didn't have to do anything. These are the systems that I'm talking about. So to recap, our 5 kind of reasons that our bank accounts stay anemic is we don't have a clear offer. We are not charging what we're worth. We lose boundaries all the time. Guilty as charged over here. We're a generalist, not a specialist. And we become the CEO bottleneck. So download the free Practice Vitals Check. It will tell you it's a series of 10 questions, doesn't take very long to do, but download that and it'll give you an idea of where you're most stuck in your business, because where you're stuck is going to be different than where someone else is stuck. So find out where you're stuck. All you have to do is go to rhondanelson.com/practice vitals. Practice vitals. Think of it like taking vitals on a patient. We're just 10 questions, and it's going to give you ability to kind of see where you're leaking. Where are the problems in the business? Where is that revenue possibly leaking out? And then we can make a plan to fix it. And I would be happy to help you with that. If you want to jump on a practice strategy call with me, you absolutely can. rhondanelson.com/practice strategy. And it's a 45-minute call, and I will help you figure it out, and we'll give you a plan. And if Clinical Business Academy can help you with that, great. If not, you'll walk away and you'll know exactly what to do. So, of course, I'd love to have you join me, because I know how to turn a business around and put the operating system in place. But sometimes you have to have that aha moment. Like, you got to have that moment to go, oh, yeah, this is not working, and I don't want to keep doing it like this. And that's what accountability and a good operating system will do, is put you back in the driver's seat and let you get paid for what you do. So there you go, friend. I am so happy that you are with me. Thanks for listening. Go to get that Practice Vitals checklist, rhondanelson.com/practice vitals, and I'll see you next week on the podcast.